having friends who are doing it. Now, let's see if you can ask some questions that expand the conversation in an interesting way or helpful way. I give 10 points for every good question, and I'll give $100 for a bad question. And I have one in my pocket, $100 bill. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for coming.
I used to live here, 3 years. Okay, so I'm partnering. Okay, go ahead.
You mentioned in your lectures from the study experience in the higher state.
For those in the back who can't hear, Srikar Prabhu is saying, I've mentioned in my last lectures, I've quoted from Bhagavad Gītā, Vishaya Viringartante Nila Harasa Dehina, that when you experience a higher taste, then the lower goals, the less important goals become insignificant in your life.
But especially in adolescent years and as a young adult, I still experience, even when I inject hours and hours of higher taste, chanting, reading, association with devotees, that despite spending a lot of time in Krishna consciousness, my negative qualities are still there. And it will take a very long time for these negative qualities to go away. I understand it's not.
Can you hear back there? Yes? Should I quiz you on what he said? What did he say? He's been doing it a long time, right? Okay, that's what he said. Go ahead.
But despite doing this, I still have negative qualities. Those negative qualities took a long time to go away. So how can I deal with this? And how can I deal with the negative?
Just be patient. How old are you?
20.
And how long have you been chanting? 21 years?
20, 19.
19 years. Yeah. I'm picturing you in diapers with your feet back.
10 years.
10 years. Takes a long time. It's a lifetime endeavor. But as you live your life and you continue to chant Hare Krishna and you go through the various trials of life and different eras in your life, and you stick to the chanting of Hare Krishna, you'll integrate those experiences into your life, and it'll give you more and more inspiration. In the Sri Upanishad, it is said, Vidyam cha yas tad vedo vayam saha avidyayam ritum tirtva vidyayam ritum ashmite. Only one who can learn the process of nations and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. It means that we have to go through life. And the qualities that seem troubling, they do diminish over time due to several factors. One is you get a higher taste, and also your circumstances change. There's a biological certainty that you'll feel more passionate when you're younger because it's just a life cycle. When you're going through it, hormones are stronger. The idea of conquering the world or various other thoughts will be more prevalent. Of course, you keep the conquering the world part and do it for Lord Chaitanya. But the eras that you go through will be defined in different ways, and you have to be a little tolerant and realize that that's my mental, psychophysiological nature that I'm dealing with as I'm going through those. And do the best you can to stay steady with the chanting of Hare Krishna in all those circumstances. The result, as Prabhupada writes, is sure and certain. And then he goes on to say, and this is in the light of the Bhagavad, that when you take to Krishna consciousness, even if you decide you don't want it, it'll come by its own force. So he advises that you stay the course and keep on. You're doing great, by the way. And patience is something that Rupa Goswami recommends. Be patient. When it's time, it will come. It's just like with a tree. If you want to grow almonds to a really good nut, yes or no? Only 3 people like almonds. It takes 7 years to produce almonds from an almond tree. The good stuff takes longer for the roots to go down, for it to get established. The youth is the best time to get your roots down, so keep doing it. No $100 if you go, sorry. Anyone else? Yeah.
I have a question personal for how I grew up.
Okay.
I went to Brooklyn, and my parents were a little intense, so if I did something wrong, for instance, I broke a window of the baseball, I might have gotten chastised and told to read a chapter of Bhagavad Gītā out loud and then chant Krishna, and sort of reading and chanting as a punishment, like in a very subconscious way. And sometimes I'll get really inspired and I'll be able to go through it, but sometimes I just have like a natural, like, I don't have like a good starting state.
Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that. Most people go through phases, monthly, weekly, daily, moment to moment. And it's not that everyone who's steadily chanting Hare Krishna or reading feels like doing it all the time, especially in the beginning. And for whatever reason. It could be the punishment reward system that you had, as you mentioned, it could be subliminal. And the way to deal with that in the beginning of the practice, as you, I'm sure, know from many of the disciplines that you've applied in your life, education or sports or music or anything like that, is you have to turn professional. There's a book that I like. It's mostly about writing, and it's called The War of Art, not the art of war. The war of art means that when you want to do something creative, like write something, you may face what the author, Steven Pressfield, who, by the way, is the author of the book, The Legend of Bagger Vance, which was turned into a movie. It's about Bhagavad Gītā. It had Will Smith in it. And he says that when you go to do something worthwhile, there's this resistance in the universe. And he spelled resistance with a capital R. Very difficult to overcome. So, for instance, in writing, people often write books in their head. When it comes time to sit down and actually do it, there's a strong resistance, or to paint, or to learn a musical instrument. It's a lot harder in the beginning when you realize that you have to work at it. So what is his solution? He says you have to turn pro. Like professionals, they show up and they just do it, whether they feel like it or not. And that's what, in the beginning, devotional service, Rupa Goswami described Vaidhi Bhakti. It's a discipline. In the beginning, you have to use your intelligence. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gītā, Evam buddhi param budvasam statyatmanamatmana jai shatra mahabaho kamarupam durasada. In the beginning, you have to use your intelligence to see what's good for you. Like, for studying for school, right? You may not feel like doing it sometimes, right? Is that a correct assumption? Yes. So, but if I don't study, I'm going to suffer more later because I'm going to sit down for the test and realize, if I just put in a few more hours a day, so I would have been ready for this. And you have to apply a similar principle in the beginning for chanting. Rupa Goswami also gives as you probably know, this really wonderful analogy in the Upadeshamrita that with chanting, he says in the beginning it's medicine. That Krishna Nama Charitari Sitakta Vidya Pitopatapta Rasanasya Rochikani. Which means that when you have jaundice, it's a disease where you have too much bile in your system. Bile is very bitter. So even on your tongue, the taste buds get covered with bile. I hope I know what I'm talking about. Saying the right thing, but I think that's correct. When you taste something sweet, it tastes bitter. And a curative for jaundice is sugarcane juice. But when you drink sugarcane juice, the curative tastes terrible. So you think, well, I don't want to take this. But if you know at that point, if you keep drinking it, then it will become sweet. So in your practice, for whatever reason you feel inhibited, if you use your intelligence to say, I know that if I do my sadhana, I'm going to be in a better position. I'm going to be able to rise above the ordinary limitations that hold everybody in the material world back. Nobody likes getting held back. Right? In school, did you ever know when he was held back? Like, oh, he got held back. I just remembered that phrase. And sort of like at the time of death, like, nah, we're going to hold you back another lifetime. You could have done your sadhana a little better. So that's intelligence. You try that and turn pro and you just show up. And there's a little switch at the back of your head you can flip to. When you don't feel like doing something, here, let's try it. Put your hand back there and see if you can find it. And when you flip the switch, 1, 2, 3, flip, you turn into an AI robot. And then you just do it instead of worrying about wanting to do it, not wanting to do it. You just do it. That's Vaidhi Bhakti, the beginning. Is that okay? Good question. Can't give you the $100. Okay. Do we have time for another one? Actually, we have time for one more, right?
No.
Okay. We try for the $100.
I'll double that.
Okay, it has to be a bad question. But you have to be sincere when you ask it. Actually, anytime. He's always sincere.
I was wondering, you're talking about finding.
Well, they're having a discussion in the ashram about finding sincerity.
And so I was wondering, because what's the best way to find it?
Could I shed light on it, and what's the best way to find sincerity? Well, I can give you my realization about it, because sincerity might be interpreted in various ways. What it feels like to me is to identify internally my intention, which is I only want Krishna, I only want devotional service, I don't want anything else. And when I find that in myself and I dwell on it, I immediately feel enlivened, even if it's in a molecular size. And that's the seed that can grow into full-blown devotional service, and by which you can overcome any obstacle. If you can identify, even on a molecular level, a desire that I really want to be Krishna's devotee, and that's all I want. I don't want anything in return. I just want to do this because I feel so grateful to Krishna. And if you find that, and if we give the metaphor of a spark, and you fan that, it will turn into a little flame, and then it will conflagrate and become a fire, and becomes all consuming your life. So that's a good idea. I recommend it. Find your own sincerity, and then dwell on it. There's lots of things you can dwell on that exacerbate our problems here in the material world, but this is one thing you can dwell on that solves all your problems. Because Jiv Krishna Das Avishwas Korlito Arduto Nai. When you feel this sense that I only want to be a servant of Krishna. And as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in the line I just quoted from the song Radha Krishna Bol, then there's no more misery for you. Because real misery comes from being misaligned from that sincere desire to serve Krishna. Nice question. No $100. That brings us to the next part of our program, doesn't it? Which is?
So it's like 6:16. We do want to maybe do a nice program, or if anybody has a few more questions, maybe we can pick one more. and go
Okay.
into 6:20.
From this side of the room.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. Hare Krishna.
One. I just have a question that's coming from Britain. How do you, how is there some tips on how to balance like the human life and our spiritual life in the sense of a balance? So we're not really the spiritual life, and also so the balance of both out there.
What a great question. Thank you. Balance is important. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gītā, Yukta hara viharasya, Yukta chesta sukharmastu, Yukta swapna vabodasya, Yogo bhavati dukkha. Yukta means be balanced, regulated. He says, be regulated in the way you eat. Don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little. Don't recreate too much, don't recreate too little. You have to take care of your body, mind, and soul. We are living a dual existence because we do have a body and a mind. We do have to do some kind of work in the world. So one of the ways that you can find your way through the various eras of your life in good fashion is to ask, which of my activities are helpful to my devotional service? For instance, if you're going to get some employment, if you're looking for a job, you try to organize it in such a way that it's as helpful as possible. For instance, a job where you might work a swing shift and work all night long in a nightclub with loud music or something like that, it might be hard for you to watch the sunrise and chant Hare Krishna because you'll be tired or you'll still be up at that time. Asking yourself, where should I live? Where should I go to school? A lot of our youth made decisions based on where will I have the best association. You have on one side, what's a better named school? But then it's out in the boondocks. And the other school, well, it's good enough, but it's close to where I know I'm going to go to all the festivals and go to the programs with the devotees. If you can make choices based on that, because you could make the other choice and say, well, I want the better named school, because maybe I'll make more money later on. But if you're not a devotee and you make money, then it's hard to justify that. My friend Satyadev was a paramedic for 20 years, and the first thing they teach you in paramedic school is that a dead paramedic can't save anybody. And there's a couple of lines in the purport for 10:14:8, Tatenu Kampam. Does everyone know that verse? Tatenu Kampam Samikshamano Vunjane Eva Akritam Vipakam. Redbhagvapurvir Vidaram Namaste Videta Yomukti Pade Sadayava. It's Brahma saying that you can go through this lifetime and learn how to tolerate the inconveniences and seeing them as Krishna's mercy, then you're eligible to go back to Godhead. And the first line of the purport, the commentators servants of Prabhupada have quoted from Sridhar Swami. He's a great commentator from antiquity. And he said, the first duty of the son of a rich man is to stay alive because he only inherit. So he says the first duty of the devotee is somehow or other to stay alive. And if you think of it like that, how do I best stay alive in Krishna consciousness? Despite the fact that I have obligations, and everybody does. There's nobody who's born in this world without complications. Shukadeva Goswami knew that. That's why he wouldn't come out of the womb. You know, he stayed there for 16 years, and finally he came out of the womb and he took off running, and his father was like, wait, come back. He didn't even turn around. He didn't want to get entangled. But we're all entangled just coming into the world. But if you make your priority to somehow or other stay alive in Krishna consciousness, figure out a way that you can finish what you start. And that's another word that goes with patience is determination. And if you break the word determined down, it's got the word terminus in it. Terminus means an ending point. So one way to understand if you're determined or not is that if you finish what you start. For instance, if you start a program to chant, and you say, I'm going to chant this number of mantras every day, and you're able to stick with it, then you're determined. Other advice is that find in your sadhana a level that you won't go below. Make a stand. So let's just say you're really busy, you don't have a taste, and all you can do is 1 round a day. Because we always say if you're going to make a vow, it should be something more than 0 and not less than 1. So let's say you can only do 1 round. That's fine. And if you hold it and you keep doing it, you get on a streak where you keep that going for a week, a month, a year, 3 years, it'll give you the power to move up to the next level. And what is the next level anyway? Birds fly in the sky as high as they're able, but the sky is unlimited. So it doesn't matter exactly how high you are. It just matters if you're progressing and you're developing your capacity, and you can do that. And it actually helps when you're involved in the world and at the same time you're doing your sadhana. I quoted the verse earlier. It's worth noting in the Sri Upanishads, verse number 11, that side by side, you don't have to invent how to do material life because we've already figured that out. But you do have to figure out how to simultaneously keep the vibration going. We have a saying, KTTVG. It means keep the transcendental vibration going. I'm going to get some hats, KTTVG movement. And if you just keep that in mind, no matter what else happens, somehow or other stay alive and keep the transcendental vibration going, then there's a way that Krishna will help you. He'll help you anyway, but he'll really help you if you take that side of it and keep it going. Okay? All right? You're welcome. Thank you. Great question. No $100 available. Not even close. She may have to try harder next time. Now, Kirtan?
Okay, so do you think my mind definitely want to say, because it's just everybody, let's give it a nice way. Haribo! All right, that's maybe like a Denver type of Haribo. Nice and loud. Let's do a New York type of Haribo. All right, in Toronto, I think it's a little bit louder. So one more time. Feel like you're from Toronto, nice and loud, okay? Haribo! Okay, so you guys can come join us. So I definitely want to offer my deepest respect and appreciation to you who are for taking your time out now with us and sharing words of wisdom and kind of tools that we can definitely all take and kind of carry it throughout our lives, not just in our constant friendships and relationships, but also how we interact with other individuals in our life, especially even in material. Does everybody say Haribo?
Yeah, it's spreading.
He's definitely from Toronto.
Perfect. So you guys can definitely see the impact that the relationship one actually has. And it's not just a relationship with each other, but actually really developing a very deep impact with Krishna, developing a very strong bond with Krishna. So we can definitely thank him and we can actually worship him. Yes, is that
Possible.
possible?
It's happened before. Could happen
Well, I
again.
don't know. Does the youth want to get that?
Harē Kr! Harē Kr!
Have you all learned the Sri Upanishad?
Working for them.
You'll learn it really fast. All you have to do is chant it together. And by the way, Jayanti, thank you very much for your unbounded enthusiasm in everything you do. And the results speak for themselves. Hare Krishna.
Harē
Haribol. I mentioned UTM.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. If you're interested in UCM, I'll be available. You can talk to myself or Abhay over here, and we'll get you some more information and sign up for UCM. It's Saturday, 6 p.m. EST, like your time. And you see, very appreciative and lucky to have all of you.
Definitely. Devotees in Chicago have a program and they've been joining. We have devotees from all over the world actually. So a lot of fun. Actual minutes. I want to be so bold as I just want to open the Sri Upanishad. Does anybody here have a smartphone?
I don't think any of
If not, see me afterwards. I have a deal for you. Tell them what I'm going to do for you. Look up on your database, Sri Upanishad. Because the task begun is half done. Once you start with Sri Upanishad, it'll never end. I guarantee you, by going into the Sri Upanishad and memorizing these verses, which will take you under 2 months, even if you do it occasionally, you'll just catch on to it really fast. Then it'll lead to harder things, like you'll learn Vidashamrita. What else? The Divinity and Divine Service. You'll get the 34 verses from the first canto, second chapter of the Bhagavatam. And then you'll be conversant and supporting verses. Anytime you give a talk, you can support it by giving a verse from the Shastra. Okay? Say yes.
Yes.
Need a verbal yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so see if you can find Sri Upanishad on the database. That's part of it. Someone once told me education isn't about knowing everything, it's about knowing how to find everything. Do you agree?
Yes.
It's helpful to be able to find things. Look in indexes. Nowadays, just ask your phone. Anybody who's already found it and notices somebody who doesn't already have it, please help out. How many of you have found it on your database? How many of you have not found it yet and would like a help? How many of you are not here right now? One person only. So let's try chanting the Sanskrit together, okay? Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate Ishamashyam idam sarvam yakinja jagatyam jagat tena chaktena bhunjita Magridakasya svidranam kurvane viha karmani jijivishekshatam samaha evam tvainanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare asurya namate loka antena tamasavritaha tamste vritya vigachanti ye ke chatma manojanaha ane janikam manaso jabiyo naina deva apyubam purvanarshat tadhavato jnanate tishtat tasmina pumantadishva dadhati tadejati tannai Jadure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasya sehayataha yastu sarvani bhutani atmane manupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijagupsate Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaivadbhut vijanataha tatra ko mohakashoka ekatvam anupashyataha saparya gachukram akayam avranam ashnaviram shudham apapavidham kabir manishi paribhusvayambur Yathatyathortyan Vyadardashaspati Vyasamabhyaha Andam Tama Pravishanti Ye Vidyam Upasvate Tato Puya Ivate Tamo Yahu Vidyayam Rataha Anyane Mahur Vidyaya Anyadahura Vidyaya Iti shushu madhiranam enastad vichachakshire vidyam cha yas tadvedo mayam saha avidyayam ritum tirtva vidyayam ritum ashnute andam dhamma pravishanti ye sambutim upasate Tato puya ivate tamo ya usambhutyam rataha anyareva husambhavad anyarahura sambhavad iti shushu madhiranam enastad vichichakshire sambhujim cha vinasham cha yastad vedo vayam saha Vinashena mritum tirtva sambhutyam mrityumashnute Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukam Tattvam pusham napavrenu satyadharmaya drishtaye Bhushani karsheyamasurya prajapatya Vyuharasmin samuha Tejo yate rupam kalyanatamam Tate kushyami yosavasa purusha sohamasmi Vayur anilam amritam Atedam vashmantam shariram Om kratos smara kritam smara Kratos smara kritam smara Agnenaya supataraya asman Vishvani deva vayunani vidvan Yujodhyasmasjuhadana meno Uyishtam te nama upim vidhema Shri Ishupanishad Sampurnam Hari Om. How was it? How was it when we first started chanting it when you were kids?
I remember as kids, we all forget the words.
users. You struggle with some of the longer quantity users, like say for I can get but just by practice or practice, starting to think and make it very easy. And now seeing those words versus the words for some speaker thing, you can start. Then you can just connect with something like that. I thank you for that.
So you like it? Okay. The miracle of the human mind. What you don't know on Monday, you can know on Thursday. Because it's just by practice. Whenever I'm practicing something, in the beginning my mind says, oh, this is impossible. And then if I just keep doing it and keep trying, fill in the gaps, and all of a sudden I know it. And someone says, how do you know that? And say, I have no idea how I know it. I just do. I practiced it, and now I know it. And it's a high value practice for your sadhana. A lot of young people do kirtan. Anybody can sit down and chant for hours, and that's good. But if you also know shlokas, and, well, I'll go out on a limb here, if you're also really good at japa, you put those three things together. Well, one more thing. Go out and book distribution a little bit. The way we do it is so fun, nobody wants to come home. And you go out as a group, and devotees get addicted to it because it's exhilarating. We don't want to be bored all our lives, sitting around in the same position we were last week, last year, 10 years ago. But if you go on book distribution, every time you go out, you're facing the unknown, and that's good. The whole world's unknown, but you know it when you go on book distribution, and you can rise to the occasion. So what are the four things? Kirtan forever. Then shlokas. Do them a lot with your friends, and you'll I guarantee you'll learn them faster than you can imagine because you guys are smart. Then japa. Get really good at japa. Not many people put that much into their japa, but if you put a lot into your japa, you'll find out that it's the most rewarding of all the practices. But it takes a lot of practice and discipline. But do it. Okay? Say yes.
Yes.
And fourth? And book distribution. Go out with somebody who knows what they're doing, how to organize so that it's fun. And, oh, I left it in my room, but I had wristbands for you all. It says on here, and this proves it, book distribution is fun and easy. So repeat after me. Book distribution is fun and easy. See? I'll have to get the bands out of my, well, it's in the hotel. I think if you go in the room, you're just sitting on the bed, 3 packages. Room 404. Thank you. Now, yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Maybe if you can get maybe a nice photo.
Okay.
Because
No photo.
no photo.
Just kidding.
Because of the IT kind of set up nicely, even for the next workshop. Maybe
Okay.
you can actually arrange it here, or with you, with Chicago and ISU. Is that possible? Because the next
Definitely possible.
very soon.
Yes?
Hare Krishna, I forgot to mention the most important part of Youth, and that's that through Youth we get the association of His Grace Vaisesika Maharaj.
Haribol.
Haribol, exactly.
Aww.
And through Youth Jam, we dive into Shastra, into shlokas, and different readings like the Krishna book and Srila Prabhupada's Limamrita, so that way you can get a jump start on the shlokas that Maharaj is talking about. Is one of the 4 important practices in your life. So again, if you're interested, you can talk to us and we'll get you into it. The link is youthgemofficial.com. I know it's a little bit long, but if you forget it, just talk to me. I'll be happy to help you out.
Thanks, Bart. Does anybody have any reflections from the session? Yes. Okay. Any last reflections? Anything you're taking away from the session? Okay, name one thing you're taking away from the session. We'll take 3 of them. Yes.
Have good friends to uplift you, and you advance quicker and read more and learn more good things.
Thank you. Nice. Yes.
Good job.
Chant good japa. Great. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta says, don't try to be a great devotee, just be a good devotee. But in order to be a good devotee, you got to chant great japa.
Be patient.
Be patient. Anything else? What? Set your intention. That's very powerful. Set your intention. Thank you. Yeah. Hare Krishna. You distributed a few books and nobody donated? I'll help you with your technique. The donation part, you need a good technique. Otherwise, it's timing and it's also what you tell them. So all you need is a little training. Don't worry. I'll teach you how to do it. One last thing before we take a photo. Foster sincerity. Who said that? Very good. Foster sincerity. Okay. Now let's take a picture for posterity's sake. Because next time we'll say, that's the one time we chanted the Sri Upanishad. Now we know Sri Upanishad, Upadeshamrita. We know the second chapter of the Bhagavatam and a bunch of other stuff. By the next time I'll see you. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpa Vrishya, Kripa Sindhave Vajapatitanam, Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavi.